Hello everyone and welcome back. Larry here again with a product review that I think you might find interesting. This is the MeatStick 4X, right? It's a wireless meat thermometer, or just a wireless thermometer in general. You don't need it for just meat, right? I've used it on potatoes and some other things along the way as well. But what it is a wireless thermometer, and you might be wondering, well, why do I want a wireless thermometer, right? Well, it's useful for a couple reasons that I've personally experienced, right? Things like rotisserie cooking, where the meat is turning on the spit, and putting a wire probe in there will just wind up the wire. You can't use it with a wired probe with rotisserie cooking. Another one would be for sous vide cooking, right? So you have the meat inside the vacuum sealed bag and your hot bath of water. How are you going to get a wired probe inside the meat, right? Now, do you need a wireless meat probe for sous vide cooking? No, right? Generally, you know what temperature and time to set it for based upon experience or a chart somewhere. But if you were curious and wanted to know, that would be a use case for that as well. Or it could be used for any other use case where you just don't want to be fishing wires through openings in your grill lid or your oven door seal or whatever, right? It helps avoid that too. So what it is, again, it's this set where the meat probe can come out. Let me see if I can pull that out of there backwards. So what we have here is this little meat stick that inserts all the way through the meat, and there's three sensors in here which have to be inserted all the way into the meat, all the way, in order for this to work. And there's a fourth probe or a fourth sensor on the very tip, which is used to measure the ambient temperature inside your cooking environment, whether it be your sous vide bag, your grill, or oven, right? And so the base that comes with it serves two purposes. It is a charging station, right? And so you can put this in here to charge, but it is also a wireless range extender for this probe, right? Because this probe is Bluetooth enabled, and unfortunately, personally, I'm not a fan of Bluetooth for this kind of stuff because, for one, it's got a very limited range and it's very prone to interference, walls and things causing disconnects. Right? So what they did with this product then is that they use this base station, which has to be closer to the grill than your phone, which again, this thing will come with a app that you can download and program to connect to the probe on your phone. So if you bring your phone in the house or too far away, you can lose connection. But with the base, it actually extends that range. It says the stats were for the stick itself, it says it's less than 33 feet with a closed grill or oven, but up to 164 with an open grill. But with the base unit, they claim it can reach up to 650 feet. Now, take those with a grain of salt, right? In practice with walls and interference and things, that won't be as great for everyone. In fact, my experience has been a little less than that, a lot less than that. In fact, I've had struggles with it disconnecting if I were to bring my phone with the Bluetooth signal connected to the base station. If I brought my phone into the house, too far into my house, right, I'll lose connections, and it's happened a number of times. They have to go back out by the grill to get it to reconnect, and then not venture that far away again, right? So there are some drawbacks to the Bluetooth technology and the wireless range of this device, but they have a solution for that on their website, which I don't have, but it's a wireless bridge extender, a Wi-Fi bridge extender that you can connect this to your home network, and as long as your home network is on the internet, you can actually access your cooking probe from the internet or anywhere in range of your home Wi-Fi, right? Which really extends the range greatly. Yeah. So, but it's an extra add-on cost which I have not purchased. I'm not sure if I will or not yet. I have other solutions for that already, but time will tell. I'll see. So it's great for those few purposes. Now, is it good as a general meat thermometer in general? I have some downsides to share with you on that. It's not so great for direct grilling because, from my experience, you put this into a piece of, steak or potato, which I've done a couple of tests on, and if you were to sear the steak directly over the heat like you want to do to sear, you want a really hot searing, this thing will overheat. The app will tell you, hey, it's too hot to remove it from the heat. It won't, and you have risk of hurting your probe, right? So really, it's not good for direct searing. In fact, you might have to work around it by doing like a indirect cook and then a reverse sear at the end without the probe. I mean, that's a workaround, right? It's also not good for thin cuts of meat, right? So if you have a very thin cut pork chops, this probe is pretty thick, right? So trying to get it into a thin piece of meat, you're pretty much not really doing much help with that. Also, for very small sized foods, right? So again, this meat probe has to fit all the way inside the entire piece of meat, so or food. So if your food is smaller in it and you can't go all the way into it, then the food that you're cooking is too small for this probe. One of the cool things I like about this is that the base unit is magnetic in the back, and so you can stick it to anything that's magnetic, steel, right? So you can attach it to the side of your grill or a stand nearby like I do. And the base, again, like I said before, is a charger for the probe, but one of the downsides is that it takes AA batteries. It's not like a lithium USB rechargeable type of thing. You'll actually just have to need a supply of AA batteries. Now there are rechargeable AA's out there that you can go buy. I've dealt with those in the past. I learned my mistakes. I'm never buying rechargeable AA's again from my own past experience with them. But that's an option too, I guess. So I mentioned the app, right? So there's this app that you download that will connect with it. And it's a pretty useful little app. You can set alarms. You can set temperature ranges. There's a number of presets in there that you can choose from for the different types of meats and cuts and things, and the doneness level. So so that's really helpful for those who don't know what they want to cook to. But for those who are more advanced and understand exactly what you want, like myself, you can manually input your temperature ranges and alarms for those as well, which is pretty cool. And of course, you can monitor the progress over time with that app, right? So you can actually track it as long as you're within range again, and that's one of the drawbacks of the Bluetooth technology, but it's still pretty cool as long as you're still within range. And again, going back to the range topic, this thing does have a much longer range than any other Bluetooth enabled temperature probe I've ever seen so far to now. So I'm not knocking the range as much as you might think. It's actually got a decent range for a Bluetooth enabled device. It's just not what I'm used to with my wireless signal probes that I've had in the past, which can go much further. So in summary, that's it. It's a fine product. It does what I want it to do. It's not good for every single use case, like I mentioned out there, but for those few use cases where wired probes are a hindrance or not possible, this is an excellent solution. I hope you found this video useful. Thanks for watching. Talk to you next time.